it feels so strange
It does.
to not start
Yes.
with our intro.
No intro. This is the intro.
It's like a cold start.
It really is. It's chilly. It's chilly, Josh.
Yeah. Well, not really, because it's officially summer. But you know what? We don't talk about the weather on this podcast.
In this episode, Josh, we are actually going to go live from Owensboro, Kentucky.
Oh my gosh, what a cool thing that was.
It was huge. Now, it is a live recording. We must admit it is a live recording, so there is a little bit of echo. We don't have these gorgeous microphones like we do now, but it was amazing. The people were amazing, Josh.
Yeah. How many people do you think were there listening to the podcast?
I'm going to say by listening to the podcast, you're going to think there's at least 1,000 people there.
But we were in the Bluegrass Hall of Fame in their very nice theater.
Yes, the Woodward Theatre. Yes.
Yeah, and you will hear what sounds like thousands. I'd say there were a couple hundred.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were they loved it. They were into the actual podcast, into the podcast. They were into what we had to say as well. We talk all about geotours as well. Now, let's put a disclaimer out there first. If people don't know what a geotour is, Josh, we do say it on the podcast. But if people don't know what a geotour is, let's just say what is a geotour straight away now.
Yeah, a geotour is a part of our hobby, which is geocaching,
Yeah.
which is a worldwide scavenger hunt where you use GPS to find hidden containers all over the world. But some cities work alongside geocaching.com and create what is called official geotours, which is a series of geocaches that highlight their city. Often highlight, the different locations, the different places, sometimes the different restaurants, the different parks. And they're just a really great way to get a sense of what a town is like. So we talk about on this episode the different sorts of geotours that we really enjoyed the most.
Exactly. And you can have anywhere between 5 geocaches in a geotour up to like hundreds, really.
Yeah.
So we talk about
we
that
talk
as well.
about in the episode what we think makes a geotour great. So if you're listening to this and you're not a geocacher, here's what you're going to get out of this. Even though you might not be into geocaching, there's going to be 10 locations, let's say 11 or 12, because we had like audience participation.
Yes.
They shared some of their locations that they really love. So similar to our top 10 spring destinations, this is our top 10 geotours, which are connected to some really cool cities that you could visit. And we talk a little bit about why those cities are great in this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just go straight into the podcast now, shall we, Josh?
Yeah, why not?
All right, let's get to it. This is Joshua and Craig going live from Owensboro, Kentucky.
Enjoy.
For the very first time, Treasures of Our Town was recorded live from the Bluegrass Hall of Fame in Owensboro, Kentucky. Here is Craig and Josh talking all about geotours.
Do you love the outdoors? Do you love to travel? Do you love finding hidden treasures in towns all over the USA? Hi, I'm Joshua.
And I'm Craig, and welcome to Treasures of Our Town, the podcast that takes you on a journey to explore the unique and charming towns scattered throughout the United States.
Join us as we venture to some of the country's most intriguing destinations, uncovering hidden gems and local secrets along the way.
On today's episode, Josh, we are recording live on stage here at Owensboro, Kentucky at Geocaching Mega Event called Geotours. Sunday there, everyone!
Wow.
That is so cool. It's amazing. You didn't even tell them to do that. No, not at all. Man, what a friend. And let's be honest, that was actually live too. I do sound effects sometimes. That is not a sound effect.
No, that's very, very real. Welcome to Treasures of Our Town, live from Geo Woodstock. This is the original mega event.
Yes.
You know that, correct?
Yes, I did. I absolutely knew that. I knew that.
The original mega event. This is my 7th time I've been to Geo Woodstock. How many times have you been to Geo Woodstock?
Twice. The first one was Cincinnati at Gigastock, if you remember that. At which point in time, that was the first time I met a lot of you in the audience right now, and a lot of you listening to this in your cars. The first time I met this man right here in person, and also the first time I met my now wife. Wow, that was a very significant thing. And you should be reenacting. This is an audio-only podcast.
Yeah.
We should reenact what it looked like. This is for the benefit of the life. What it looked like when we actually met the person.
This is a true story.
This is what it looked like.
This is a true
It
story.
was like, Craig,
Joshua.
yeah, okay, so you get in slow motion, approach one another with a beautiful, beautiful embrace.
It was. And from that moment on, Josh and I have been, let's just say, been going back and forth, talking back and forth, video over the years going back and forth. And it wasn't until about the latest trip in Florida in January when Josh said to me, if you don't know how this podcast started, when Josh said to me, in the hot tub,
Yes.
having some little high life beers.
Yes, not sponsored.
Not-
Let me know if you're listening.
He said to me, Craig, I couldn't do a podcast. I'm not that type of person. I'm not a live person. I like to do the edits, a whole lot. I couldn't do a podcast. But if I were to do a podcast, it wouldn't be an actual geocaching podcast. It'd be a travel podcast that's dependent upon our geocaching travel.
Yes, so the Treasure Summer Town podcast is a travel podcast guided by a great hobby of geocaching.
And unbeknownst to Josh, after he flew back to Minnesota, a week later, he arrived at a beautiful, gorgeous microphone on his doorstep, and he looked at it, he messaged me and said, "What's this? I said, what do you think it is? Plug it in, let's get this thing started."
Yes, I don't even remember saying yes to doing this podcast.
No.
Showing my microphone. And here we are.
Yeah.
Live. We're in Owensboro, and sort of the vibe, the geocaching vibe of Owensboro is three things, right? It's barbecue,
Yeah.
bluegrass, and bourbon.
Yeah.
Right? So I just want to take a quick survey of the crowd. Raise your hand if you would experience any maybe live bluegrass set. Wow.
Last month,
Yeah.
a big one.
Okay, I would say that's 60%.
Yeah.
Anybody experience Kentucky barbecue?
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot more. That's a
That's
lot
more.
more. And did anybody participate in any bourbon? Yes. Oh.
Yep.
Somebody got really excited about that. Yeah. Less, but they're many. And we actually toured the Green River Distillery yesterday.
Yeah.
And if you buy the bourbon there, yes, you get a Geotour. Or you get the option to buy it.
You get the option to buy the gear.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is really cool. So this geocoin itself is quite small than geocoin for a reason. So the bottles themselves are shaped in the shape of a horseshoe, which then makes a little gap underneath the middle of the bottle. So you can put the bottle in the bar, get your little geocoin, and slide it underneath that bottle. And you have a shot. So it's a drinking now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about it. This is not a bourbon podcast.
No.
Okay? And so we're here to talk about one of my favorite topics in the world of geocaching, and that is geotours. Geotours. So we're going to take some time to talk about some of our favorite geotours that we have ever experienced. It really fits with the topic of our podcast because geotours bring us to maybe some of these unexpected towns, unexpected treasures, maybe some of these smaller towns that a lot of people don't know about unless it was for geocaching. And geotours do that so well. And this is exciting, Craig. If we have time, we're going to share some of our favorites. So I have this great wireless microphone. I can walk around.
Oh, that's true.
Walk around and I can walk up to you. And if you have any geotours that you have experienced that you would like to share with the group, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
It would be fantastic too. Because we can't get everywhere, right, Craig?
Exactly right. But to start off with, let's talk about those people if they're new to geocaching or not geocaching. What is an actual geotour, Josh?
A geotour is a set of caches in a community. Usually it's a chamber of commerce or a group of cachers that works with the chamber of commerce or some sort of city leadership to create a series of caches. They usually range between as few as 5. Like right as we're speaking right now, right behind us.
Yeah.
Is a whole geotour right along the river. And it's only 5 caches. So as low as 5 caches and as many as 4. That Santa Fe one down there in
towards the New Mexico along there. It's like 160 or something. There's whole states that have all their state parks. And Michigan has all their state parks covered with the Geotour. So it's a series of caches. And the great thing about it, you complete the Geotour, you get digital stuff. You get a souvenir. And it's the best kind of souvenir because it's a souvenir that you don't dust.
Let's go to Josh. You are a souvenir hound. How many souvenirs do you have right now?
Okay. I know Dr. Krim. If anybody know Dr. Krim, retired guy, he has the most souvenirs in the world.
Yeah.
Like 500 plus.
Yeah.
And that's like 327.
That's not bad. That's a better proportion. 327.
Hey, also the big 327 is Southern.
No. There you go.
I feel special. Okay.
But not here in this room. My mom will
Take that, Dr. Krim.
Okay.
How many you got, you know? Okay, solid. Another thing.
Yeah.
You get a digital souvenir. But some Geotours, including the one behind us right now, you also sometimes have the option to earn a geocoin or purchase view.
That's right.
Which is really
In total, there are 100, I counted them last night, 100 Geotours in the world. Can anyone have a guess on me right now? How many of those Geotours are in the good old US of A? Numbers?
reach your whole lot. Up to you.
Lower.
How
many in USA?
Yeah, we can stand up, sir. And turn around. Wow, really nice shirt. Yeah, all right. You're listening to the Geocaching Vlogger. How many of you think are going to fit? How many fit 60?
Lower. At 100 in the world.
I don't shoot this. How many?
50. We'll get it in close. It's a 53. 59 caches in total. Out of 100 in the world, 53 of those are in the good old US way. How many are in Australia, Josh?
I think 0.
One.
Oh, there's one. Okay.
One. Now, just quickly as well, the one in Australia is a place called Ballarat. Now, if anyone's thinking to going to Australia, you can go to Australia to do the Geotour in Ballarat. It's only going to be available for another 12 months. But the best thing is, and I don't think anyone here right now has ever done this, and that is Adelaide, which is just west of the Ballarat Geotour, is having a mega event on the leap day. Mega event on the leap day. Now, has anyone been to a mega event on the leap day?
Oh, we have a couple.
Oh.
That's amazing.
It was amazing event. Anyway, so if you think they're going to Australia, next week here is the time to do so. And I'll put it on the podcast in the show notes, as I always say as well. The GC code is GCA1DNA. Yeah.
Wow. We didn't know.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Easy.
So, who creates the Geotours? I kind of referenced it before. Usually it's a chamber of commerce. There's a financial relationship between HQ. Just not anybody can just say, I want to start a Geotour, an official Geotour. There's lots of Geotrails out there, which is also a series of caches. But a Geotour, there's a relationship with HQ to get it on the website. And some of the best Geotours are the ones that are not only a part of like the city chamber, but also when there's awesome geocachers willing to maintain them and create some awesome experiences for people.
Exactly. And we're going to talk very shortly as well about our favourite Geotours and how they came about and why they are our favourites as well. But when it comes to Geotours, I've lost my place already, Josh. This will not be edited. Don't worry about that. It will not be edited. Can you help create a Geotour in your area?
Yes, you can. I'm curious, is there anybody here that has a passion in a Geotour, or you actually are organizing one?
Sassy in my heart over there.
Find your Chesapeake.
We work with the National Park Service, bringing it from Susquehanna Valley, Pennsylvania, all the way down to Williamsburg, Virginia, and it's all along the rivers.
That's
cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah. So, Spokane, Spokane history Geotour would turn into the film of Spokane.
I love movie locations. And spoiler alert, he's already given away one of my top 5. Oh, just saying. So yes, you can actually organise it or try and get it organised. You can do it by yourself. I'd say not, Josh. It'll be very hard to try and get a Geotour done by yourself. Try and do it with a collective group of people, make it a lot easier. Spread that once a little bit as well. Hook up with your local tourism and speak to HQ and government, because there's a lot of avenues you have to go through.
Yeah, what do you think makes a Geotour great? Because we've done quite a few now. We've actually done some together. We found some, we're not keeping it positive. We found not some great ones, and we found some really great ones. What makes a Geotour fantastic?
Well, there's several things, and like anything else involved, but a Geotour itself, the Matrix for me is fantastic, is the locations you get to go to. However, there are Geotours out there where the location is literally just a parking lot or car park, as I would say in Australia. But it is a really cool gadget cache. What's the biggest 2 million one? So yeah, that's something that's absolutely brilliant in a geocache itself and gadget related for me, or a beautiful location which you would never go to unless it was from the Geotour.
Yes, I would say the formula for an amazing Geotour is great caches, fun locations, and you said, and adding the third piece is so important, is making sure that those caches are well maintained, right?
Oh yes. Well, there's one Geotour with munzee. Those ones we did, they were not maintained at all. Something missing at the time, and the tourism board didn't even know really about it when we got there. Yeah, that wasn't too good. So that was maintained.
And that's why it's so important that geocache should be involved.
Yes.
That we're really passionate about it. And here's the frustration. Again, trying to keep things positive. The frustration with it is you have to find all the geocaches on the Geotour to get the souvenir. Every single one.
Every single one.
Raise your hand if you've ever gone through a Geotour and a couple of them aren't there. Yeah.
Yeah.
How frustrating is that? Yeah, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
So, it's really important that they're well maintained. So,
exactly.
Yes.
I'm looking at the time, Josh, but I think we should go on about
That's our movie. You go first.
Me, I said, well, okay, I'll start because it's already spoiled. Spokane, Washington. And guess what? That is on number 1 on this too, I just checked. Spokane, Washington, unfortunately, is gone now, but Lisa from, I say, Geocaching Stockholm. I go, Lisa from Geocaching Stockholm, I'm not sponsored. She put out this brilliant film-type Geotour. And again, it's one of those things where it takes you to a film locations in that area. And to me, and you, Josh, as well, when it comes to filming and movies, and yeah, love it. But one of the best parts was, after you finish, you take your passport to Lisa, and she personally hands you a Geotour, and that Geotour is one of my top 5 Geotours to this day. It's brilliant. This big, the film like raw, beautiful.
Yeah. Now, maybe you don't remember, I'm curious, do you remember any of the films that you remember that were part of that Geotour? We have JD here, so he can maybe help us out. Do you remember any of them?
You know it.
You don't remember? This is why we should always have a live studio audience.
Yes.
So what are some of the films that were filmed in Spokane? Because
It's putting you on the spot now too, you know that too.
This is a tremendous power.
It is.
There's films. So, JD, what are some of the films that have filmed Spokane?
Okay, some of the big ones were a movie called Vision Flat about high school wrestler. There's some really old ones. I believe it's called Brandon Boys, and it was about cowboys and it was filmed in the 50s, etc. So the main film that we centered on was Band.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The 90s classic. A great song. Right?
Yeah. So Josh, what's your number 1 now?
Number 1.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, just scale it more up. Just the way you grew up.
Yeah, in no particular order.
Yeah, just the way.
And usually we focus on the United States on our podcast.
Yeah.
I found some pretty amazing international adventure labs, and one of the most recent ones I found in St. Benda, Germany. I think I said it right too.
Yeah,
In English, it's St. Benda, Germany. And this was only 5 caches.
I know, I saw the video.
Yeah, they're created I recently put out a video about it. They're created by a guy named Theatre, who runs a geocaching company called Geotours, and he does an amazing job working with cities and businesses to create these amazing experiences. And what was so cool about it, there were 3 traditionals, and the third one was the bonus to an adventure lab. This piggybacks off the last speaker, and it was the most creative adventure lab I had ever found. What it was that you go to the location and there's a shed, and in the shed, you open the shed and there's like a covered wagon. And the idea is you take this covered wagon and you drag it through the whole city, and you go to these different locations. You get information off of a statue, and you put the answer in, and then it unlocks a padlock code that's on the wagon. And then you open up the wagon, and then inside the wagon there are little compartments, and there is a little gadget cache in there. Amazing. Now, you might be thinking, oh yeah, you dragging the cart. Yeah, the cart itself, it was 6 foot in length, and about 6 foot high, and about 4 foot wide. And this cart was dragged through cobblestone streets. Yeah. Did anyone look at you strangely? No, because I'm guessing that department's driving around the town. It does need better suspension, because it is pretty loud. But I know some of you might be thinking, wait a minute, hold up, Josh. No, that sounds physical containment is a part of an adventure lab. And you know what? You're right. But GCHQ is working with some special adventure labs, working with businesses to make some exceptions to that rule. So you might be thinking, oh, I'm going to make something like that. Well, hold up. Call our good friend Ryan up and maybe have a conversation before you do that. But St. Bengal, it was a part of the Geotour. They brought in really a creative adventure to it. Love it.
And if you want to get the visual to this, if you're listening or in your car, etc., go to Josh's channel again. The link will be in the description or in your show notes, and you see that exact thing we just talked about in regard to the car and the adventure lab and also the whole Geotour. So absolutely brilliant. We're moving on just to line number 2. Line number 2 is the HQ Geotour. Now, come on, I should get hands for that. Who's done the HQ Geotour? Oh, really? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, I could have been more than that. Yeah. So if you haven't done the GCH,
and I'm also going to from GQ.
No, it's you that I have to do. I'm going to have to do me now. The GCHQ headquarters Geotour. If you haven't done it, basically I think it's about 8 caches all around headquarters. So hashtag, make sure you do it when they're open so you can get that kicked off as well. They're pretty cool caches, they're not too bad, but it's got huge favourite points on it, of course. 9,000 total favourite points. Now, for the souvenir, there is souvenir now. If you don't have it, go to the HQ, get the souvenir. Like,
and it's in the Fremont district of Seattle, which is just, if you've been there, you know, it's a really kind of quirky place. A perfect place. You got control there, there's control under a bridge, there's a library going to, there's a lot of creative caches around there.
And we're not affiliated with headquarters, we're not affiliated with like munzee or any other game, etc. But I will say this, that is, they actually break their own rules just once. Their files for the multi in the library is big in the distance for a traditional out in the front. Just saying.
Let's move on to the next one. Oh, this one's a close secret. And I actually talked to somebody in this room that recently experienced it, and that is, in no particular order, big things, small town. In Casey, Illinois. Raise your hand if you get the keys or got it.
Oh, that's okay. We got one. That's the hot right.
Okay, so
I haven't done it.
What's that?
I haven't done it, so tell me that.
We've talked about roadside attractions on previous episodes. You should have a guess. This whole town is filled with roadside attractions. Several of the world's biggest things are there. We got the world's largest mailbox. We got the world's largest coffee trigger. We got a giant barbershop pole. We got a huge pencil. We have a huge computer tower. We got a huge wind chime. These are all out of my head, and I haven't even scratched the surface. This is the perfect place for geocaching, for adventure labs. Because once you finish the Geotour, which is only 5 spots, you have a bunch of adventure labs to finish as well. And I was just talking to a young man, and I don't know if he's willing. You guys were just there, right? Yeah, what was your favorite attraction? Crazy.
Yeah, I went down.
Yeah, he come on.
He told me, Justin, come on down.
Yes.
I had a really big too nice. Yeah, good people.
Yeah, my favorite was the very good one because it was interactive. What's your name first? Fine. Where are you from? Oh, Thailand, deep in the south. My mom said that. In the south. What was your favorite thing in Casey? The world's largest mailbox. Mine too. And you know why? You can walk up into this thing if you've been there. A lot of people have been there. But the cool thing about it, you can actually make it's a real mailbox. You can mail a letter, and the gigantic flag goes up if it's actually moving. That was when I saw that, I was like, mind blowing.
This takes talking at me, bro. Yeah, I've been this is interesting, but it's quite nice.
And a lot of novels there. So Casey, Illinois, it's in three, I think, cities are in Ashland are in Casey, but there's two others in the outskirts. So it gets you to kind of explore that whole county. Love it.
And once again, if you need the visual, it's on YouTube.
Oh, thanks so much.
My number 3, Josh, we just did it. It was in Walpop, California, observing the Geotour, and that was with the thing that made it essential to me. There was brilliant caches there, don't get me wrong. Some good, some moderate. But there were some pretty good ones there, and the locations were quite good. But for me, we're busy here still. Scott, no one's gone. Scott from Ep8 videos, the one that presented before, he brought us along and he toured us around. Like, he got a full GPS out, plugged it in, went from cache to cache to cache. I'm sitting at that going, which one's this? You know, I'll have to get out and find this one.
You gotta love that. You don't even need cache tour when you have Scott.
Exactly.
Just taking you on the correct route. Because that's always like tricky, right? To figure out like what is the best route to get from cache to cache and finish it as quickly as possible.
That's fine. And if you want to know more about that actual cache tour, so we do have an existing previous episode where we talked to Builder from Longpop and who organised a non-geocacher who organised part of that Geotour.
Craig, tell them why it's special. Tell them why it's a treasure. It's special because they
the rockets.
do launch rockets.
So if you think of rocket launches, you normally think of Cape Canaveral Space Coast, that's an episode coming up. But this one here, the rocket launches are simpler rockets, but from the west coast of the US, and the reason for that is Josh.
I do remember.
It puts it in a similar orbit as what it does on the east coast, and at the same time, if anything was to unfortunately happen, it actually flies over the ocean and no people.
Oh, isn't it? It doesn't launch right there because it's time for more rockets.
Yeah.
All around the other way.
Yeah. Oh,
Thank you.
why didn't you put your hand up, Tim, and let us know? What's the next one, Josh?
All right, I know there's scans in this little room because I have seen some of the shirts. This one, Craig, unfortunately, is no longer, but it is the Fargo Moorhead Geotour. In Fargo and Moorhead, Minnesota. Do we have any Canadians that did? There they are.
Oh, no, the Minnesotans.
Yes.
The Minnesotans?
Minnesotans.
Minnesota, they had the policies for them.
This tour was created in collaboration with Geocaches, who is now Geocaching Mackie.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, it's no more. They took it away from us. It was very, very sad. But very, very happy for HQ.
Yeah.
And we won the only Frank Matthews, who is Gilby fame, one of the creators of the geocaching, the Disneyland geocaching in Gilby, North Dakota, which is about an hour north of there. But the store had geocaches and visible location and beautiful painted ammo cans and Fargo Moorhead area. If you have to visit it, it's really a I'd say underrated city. And I think pro tip, if you visit Fargo Moorhead, you might want to go, more this time of year rather than January, February. But amazing caches, great locations, great places to eat, great places to drink. Great place. I hope maybe someday that they'll bring back another Geotour there. You gotta love the Chamber of Commerce really embraces it. When you go in to get that geocoin at that location, it's awesome when they're happy to see you. And a farm of our head, they're just so happy to see you and hand out that free geocoin.
Well, I'm going to quickly go back. That reminded me in regards to Hong Kong. Where can we pick up our geocoin from? Normally, as Josh said, you pick up a geocoin from the tourism, except for people make sure that they're open, this day, and no proposal numbers. You know, there's volunteers, don't get me wrong, we all appreciate it. But in Hong Kong, you pick up your geocoin at a place that's open 24/7.
This is brilliant.
It is.
If you ever put together a Geotour, do this.
Yeah.
You pick it up at a hotel.
Yeah.
Hotel. And think about it, they're all of them. And pro tip also, if you're out geocaching, the best place to use the restroom, hotel lobbies. Right? They're clean and they're always open.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's my third one.
One more question for you in regards to your farming Geotour, excited you, because you still cash up there and really cash it up there. But isn't there some event thing that happens up that way, filming?
Yes. It'll be going wild in September.
Yeah.
This is not Geotour related.
Yeah.
But if you want to experience some of the most amazing caches you've ever seen, drive just an hour north, Fargo, overhead, you'll be North Dakota, the Disneyland geocaches. Some geocaches, I'm going around. Like, I target five favorite caches, and some of the creations that caches create, I've never seen before. It's fantastic. And you can spend days there. And there's the big events. We're filming in North Dakota, which is literally like about 50 people in there. So we often double the size of that town for sure. Every year. You'll be going well. I don't have the date in September.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to move on now to one that I did when I first came over to the US. I flew into I see them here. I don't know why I didn't do it now. JFK. Okay. When I flew to JFK, got my van and I flew it across. Now, in doing so, I obviously messaged or put out there and put a few local events on to meet people in the global geocache. One couple reached out to me about my event and said, Craig, you're coming all the way over from good old Australia. Do you mind if we're staying the night before your event? I said, I'm going to I'll park at park this morning. They said, no, come with our hearts to say our place. They're out in the audience right now. Danny, there we go. Big round of applause. Here. Never met these guys before, ever. Hadn't spoken to them before, but Danny reached out to me and said, Craig, you need a place to stay. As all geocachers are like, so the hospitality was incredible, but it gets better. Because, and this is where it ties in, because the next day he said to me, just like Scott in California, he said to me, Craig, do you mind if I drive you around to all of West Indians caches? I'm like, really? Do you have to understand? Seriously? Of course I did. So they drove us around to all of West Indians caches. Not all of them. I didn't do the full Geotour, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
There's quite a few. There's 66 in total. Okay. Now, statistically wise, 66 in total. Over 20,000 favourite points. 66 caches. Wow.
Is that HQ tour?
That beats the HQ. My mind beats the HQ tour. Also, when I was there, of course, they're all gathered caches. Me. I'm from Australia. I'm not that smart. Some of them I couldn't actually do. So Danny was there to say, Craig, you might want to try the right side of that thing. Oh, no, underneath that one. Oh, do you have some hot water bottle? He brought along with the ice. He brought along the ice. He brought everything for the cache we were about to do.
Oh, real geocache.
Yeah. So, again, the actual geocaches are brilliant.
Yeah.
The geocachers made that trip for me very memorable.
Yes. Berkeley County.
Yeah.
Berkeley County. Still going. And I have found several in West Virginia caches. I haven't completed the tour. I need to go back.
Yeah. And I don't think you can put the tour quickly. It must be 16 caches.
And they did it. But only worth it. Anyone completed some West Virginia? Yeah.
Look, there's more.
Of course you two have. And Martinsburg, where that is, the businesses love geocaching.
Well, again, that's the thing with what Tim does, is he collaborates with the businesses. So they're almost no proof, because the businesses know what's going on, and they love it because people come towards the front of the business. But he doesn't obviously mention the business, in the description, abides by all the rules, etc., but they are brilliant at geocaching. Yeah,
great. My next one, my fourth one, in no particular order. I'm going international again, because it just was so memorable and so amazing, amazing experience. It was a bucket list item. You don't even know what I'm going to say. We're going south to the Brazil Ep8 Geotour in Brazil, in Intervalos State Park down in Brazil. Now, it was always a destination of mine. For those of you who don't know and are listening, most people probably know there's this very special cache down there called the Project 8 cache. There's only 2 of them in the world. One of them is in the jungle of Brazil. And I thought, oh, cool, how great would it be to get that? That cache itself is worth the trip, just because it's just a very important cache. But in that park, just by itself, you can stay in the park. You can get a cabin. There's a little restaurant in the park. And there's a Geotour. And the Geotour has almost every single icon. You got multi-people aware of it. You have letterbox, you have a mystery. If you're lucky and you're with the group, you're going to have an event that night. So I think that the first time I had a big icon day was just at that park, and then I also completed the Geotour. It is once in a lifetime experience. If you're intimidated, if you're like, that sounds like something I would love to do, if you're intimidated about going down there in the language barrier, there are travel groups that travel down there. One of them is, I went down there with Cache Horizon, which is with my friend Daniel. I met a bunch of Germans down there, and they've been down there several times. They know the ropes, and they will help you through it. So, highly recommend it. It's a Geotour, check, did it.
Now, just a question for you. I think you obviously would have done video on it. Were you actually an 8 at one point in your video?
Well, the reason I had to did that cache down Brazil in the room.
No.
Okay. No. Well, so one of the things is that in that cache, spoiler, there was actually some 8 masks in it.
Oh, that's what.
Yeah. And let me just say, I had to do it, right? I had to put that mask. I had to do it in the video, right? But I almost abused, because it was moldy. It smelled. I know that a lot of people had the bad thing on. It was not a pleasant experience, but it's for the viewers. It's for the people watching. I mean, I did put on that horrific mask. That's not a highlight.
The humidity that you were in?
That cache is that's hiding in me. Well, yeah. Watch out for vipers.
What?
Vipers.
I didn't say.
Do you know what a viper is?
Yes.
I mean, you're from Australia. You should know what a viper is.
We don't have it in Australia. We've got all the other crazy stuff.
I was reading the law. You know how you read the law? I was like, what is this going to be like? And the 2 cachers that logged before me said, we were out on cache. We were so excited. But standing in front of that cache, just looking at guarding that cache, things to say, and they came out and said,
people are afraid of these snakes and spiders. I don't know why they will not harm you. The thing is that you're more likely to get mauled by a bear in Alaska or the USA than likely to get bitten or done by anything at all in the entire Australia continent. It's insane. They're not likely to do what really part of you. Just don't mess with it.
Well, he didn't. Well, that probably didn't want to mess with the cache, so I didn't feel like it, but we'll see if it.
That's something into it. We did expect to. My last one, Josh, was the donut trail. No longer in with the donut trail. Oh, we haven't been in the donut trail. Yeah, put your hand up on the donut trail.
Okay, just saying the donuts.
Well, But Josh, on my list, it said, I've got the reason why I enjoyed it, and it is the donuts. But look at me, seriously, that's tell anything in American to wants to say. But yeah, the donuts on that Geotour were delicious, delightful. When I did it, they actually told the donut shops had a geocaching donut. Do you remember that? Yeah, there's a few guys.
What do you mean geocaching going?
So
Tell me more.
So the donut itself was a normal donut, but on top it had like a brown icing to represent the dirt, and then it had like you got candy here, like little proper bits of candy, and like sprinkles. Yeah, the bigger one, bigger chunks.
Big sprinkles.
Yeah, and there was some M&Ms and there's some other bits of places. But that formed like a lot sort of area. And then in the middle was like this large chunk of chocolate that looked like an anarch in the middle. It was, and it had geocache going. And of course, I never got to eat one. Why? Because I was too late to the party. I didn't realise that they don't just keep on making donuts. I don't realise we're in America whereby you've got to get to that donut shop early to get the donuts you want, because when they run out, they don't make you more for the next day. They close their doors. George, that Geotour when I did it was through Cincinnati, and we were very, very busy with the Geotour stop.
Yeah, the giga.
Most of those the donut places closed at 11 a.m. because they ran out of donuts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2 or 3 days in a row. Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah, I did that myself. I went early.
Yeah.
Because I read some of the logs. I was prepared. I knew I did early. I actually, what's really important, I think it's a good point, is that these geotours are funded by the city. It's important to be a patron to these businesses, because it really, that's one of the reasons they're there. So I did. I got a donut from every location. I did. And I only took one bite on each one. I don't know if anybody experienced that. So I had a car filled with bags of donuts. And I had to head to the airport. And I was going to take all these donuts with me. I got gas in my car, and I saw, this is an interesting story. I saw a man, and he was digging through the garbage. He was looking for food. And I was like, oh my gosh. I have so many donuts in my car. Granted, all of them bite on them. I literally said, hey, you want those? They all have just one bite on it. And you should have seen this guy's eyes just light up when I gave all my donuts to him.
There you go, a funny story. And again, like every other geocacher out there, let's be honest, we are a good group of people. We are.
We only have 7 minutes left, okay? So we're going to go with my last one.
Yep.
We're going back to Germany. Granted, for our journey, this is another Geotour put together by David Flieger up to Eindhoven, and it is a rail bike tour. Do you guys know what I mean by rail bikes? They take these old, not used anymore railroads, and they build these bikes that you ride the bike on the railroad. And there are 20 caches. You ride it all the way to the other bank, 20 caches all along. You just pedal, and then you find the cache. And then at the end, there was an amazing, train thingy bonus cache at the end.
Wow.
It was just such a unique, amazing way to complete a geotour.
From donuts to exercise.
Yeah.
Geotour is a good
idea. Perfect idea.
Exactly.
All right. So that is our list of 10. We have roughly 5 minutes left. I would love you to walk around to the audience, and if you have any geotour that you would like to give a shout out to, or one that you experienced that you have not mentioned, we would love to hear where it is, what it is, and maybe why it was great. We have any minutes to share. Okay. Hello. Hello, what's your name, sir? Where are you from? Okay, we're going to talk to you, and you're going to shout out another geotour. Let's go.
Omaha, Louisiana.
Yes, Omaha, Louisiana, down in Bayou Country, the south of New Orleans. Tell us why it's great.
It's so different than from where I am.
Yeah, exactly. But I think this is true Bayou Country. I had great vacation. It's a different culture down there. There's a whole thing of dances. My valley, I really want to dance there. It was weird. I think that this one, at least in 3 years, so now we said in the episode as well, isn't that one closing down? It's currently closed down, but I just talked about it. They are relaunching you guys this summer.
There you go.
Look at the key. We're on key on church for the last 10. There you go. Who else has a geotour that they've completed that they would love to share? Yeah. What's your name?
I'm BJ24. I definitely got to give a shout out to Casey for sure.
Yeah. Casey was amazing. What was your favorite thing, Casey?
There was probably many. The mailbox, the golf club, the TV.
You don't have to do that. It's fantastic. It's, you're traveling, isn't it a lot easier when you're traveling? Less small. Yes, not a lot. I really enjoy it.
But if we've only got a few minutes left, because at 12:30 today, the Bigfoot guy is going to be here.
Oh.
The Yeti Man, I don't know what he calls himself, he's going to be, by the way, guys, if you were there last night and you heard those Yeti calls, the Bigfoot calls, yeah, have we had any of you heard the Bigfoot calls last night? There you go.
I'm feeling miserably. Oh, thank you.
I was like, you're on the club.
Yeah. One person. I just want to thank everybody that is in here for joining us. And if you're joining us, you want the stickers that say Treasure Our Town. They are discoverable.
Yeah.
We would love to give those out. Thank you so much for being here and listening and being a part of this. Treasure Our Town. You just search for it on Google.
Yeah.
It's on all your stuff. And now we're going to close our podcast out, right?
Well, yeah, before that, look about Patreon as well. We're around Patreon, we're brand new, and if you go to Patreon, you go to patreon.com/podcast, and you can support us financially, because it doesn't need support. We don't have sponsorship, we don't have ads or anything that run in this, we just have Patreons, of which we had one Patreon here, there's two Patreons here, that's right, we're still at the cinema. No, we got 2 out of the 13. No, 3 actually. You did well. I'm okay, you're going to 3 out of the 13 years of the show, which is cool. So, Josh, Patreon.
Yes, if you enjoyed the podcast, we really appreciate your support. But support us still help us create better content and keep it free for everyone. So thank you so much. So we should talk about the next episode.
Yes, we should. Coming up in our next episode, we chat with fellow geocachers and munzee players from Owensboro. So what we've been doing this weekend, we're going to do that on the next episode.
Talk about everything there's
It was a quick the old great series that we had here in Owensboro, Kentucky. So make sure you tune to that one. Josh, how can people contact us?
Feel free to reach out to us at treasuresoftown@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
So that's our show for today. Please subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting app. And as always,
Page novels, mostly reviews, unaccepted, and amazing hidden gems around the world. See you next time.
How cool
Wow.
was that? Wow.
That was really cool. I'm going to be honest. I was a little bit nervous because we don't even do this podcast in front of like a YouTube audience. We don't even have like a live chat room. So to have actual physical people in front of us, I'll be honest. Yeah. I was a little bit nervous.
I know, because you like the idea that I can edit things, Josh. Sometimes I know that.
Yeah,
you like the cutting room floor, so to speak.
Yeah, well, we couldn't edit it, and maybe that's because I'm so used to YouTube and curating the best of the best. But I don't know. I think we did a pretty good job.
You did a great job. You really did. You know, we had the crowd going. The crowd participation was great as well. They really enjoyed it. I think a lot of people came up to us afterwards as well and said that they got a lot of information out of it, which is pretty cool as well.
That's really cool.
The whole idea of this podcast, Josh, is to get information out there to the people and get people traveling again, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
The challenge, I think, for this podcast was I really wanted to make sure we were entertaining in front of the people that we were like actually in front of.
Yes.
But the other layer was like, this has got to be a podcast too. So, you know, there was one moment, do you remember when we were like describing the first time we met?
Yes. All I could think about when we were doing that was, people aren't going to see this, Josh. Like,
right. But I think I remember describing what we were doing.
Yeah, you did. You described it well. You described it very well.
You might need to put in the edit, Craig. You might need to put like the Chariots of Fire. Dun, da, 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 da,
That's what I couldn't think of that at the time. It was Chariots of Fire. I couldn't think of that at the time. Exactly.
Yeah, Chariots of Fire would be perfect at that location.
Yes.
But yeah, again, we've dedicated 2 episodes to sort of Owensboro.
Yeah.
And not really. I mean, Geotours we talked about a lot, but 2 about Owensboro. It was such a great time.
We did.
2,000 people there. We had we just had an awesome time, and this was really a highlight for us.
Yeah.
For the whole time we were there.
Exactly. We should also reiterate, Josh, our next episode too isn't going to be about Owensboro, because that was our last episode.
Yes.
Our next episode is going to be about one of your next Geotours as well that you've previously done before, and we'll keep that a secret for now. So you're going to have to tune in next fortnight for that. One of Josh's other Geotours that he's previously done.
Yeah, we'll deep dive into
another Geotour.
Yes, another location, which will be great. And I just want to also, before we wrap up, we got to give just like a shout out to the patrons.
Oh, yes. There was 2 other patrons there, apart from yourself. There's 2 others there on the day as well.
Yeah, that was so really awesome to see them there and have their support. And let's be honest, this podcast is still a baby.
It is.
It's still growing. We're still learning. But how neat was it that this podcast is an infant, but we got to be on stage. And a lot of people, I think, learned about our podcast because we were live at Geo Woodstock.
Yes.
So if you were listening to this and the first time you ever heard our podcast was live at Geo Woodstock, I just want to say thanks for sticking around. There's more great stuff to come.
Exactly. Oh, another thing, Josh, as well. We've recently spoken to Sunny and Sandy from the Podcasher as well. And some people have reached out to us on Facebook saying that's the first time they heard of this podcast as well through Sunny and Sandy, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
yes, the word is getting out. Getting out.
Big thank you. Big thank you to Sunny and Sandy.
Oh, yeah.
If you are into geocaching, make sure you listen to Podcaster.
Yeah.
They're like the OG.
They're the OGs of podcaching. Podcaching geocaches.
Yeah, geocaching podcast for sure.
That's the one.
Geocaching podcast, yeah.
That's the one.
But
yeah.
Have we talked about the golden nuggets yet?
No, we haven't.
I think
we came up with this in Owensboro. You come up with this in Owensboro.
Yeah, we need to talk about the golden nuggets.
We need to
this is treasures of our town, right?
Yeah.
And when I think treasures of town, I think of like a treasure chest. And I imagine opening a treasure chest. And what's in the treasure chest? Gold. But not just gold. Golden nuggets.
Nuggets of gold, yes.
Like
different size nuggets.
Yeah, different little tiny pieces of gold.
Exactly.
And so for our patrons, we want to provide golden nuggets.
Yes.
Describe what a golden nugget is.
So you chuck it to me all the time.
I did chuck it.
You did. Yeah, it's okay. So a golden nugget would be something that no one else can get unless you are a Patreon.
Yes.
So a golden nugget would be something that, it's something that you could see that no one else can see. And that would be like a piece of either something for your ears or something for your eyes.
And the key is a golden nugget is valuable.
It really is, because
it has
no one
value.
else can see it.
So on our trip to Owensboro, there was stuff that you didn't see.
Yeah.
We went to Louisville, not once, but twice.
Yes, we did.
And we recorded some golden nuggets.
We did.
Video and audio. So that's what we want to continue to do with this podcast is we want to give some golden nuggets for people that are supporting this. So if you would like to support the Treasures of Our Town podcast, go to patreon.com/ I believe Treasures of Our Town, correct?
Yeah, Treasures of Our Town. That's right.
And support us there. There's different levels, and we'll continue to grow this podcast with your help. Thank you.
And if you do join now, you can get previous nuggets. You can get access to the previous nuggets that are already there.
All the nuggets are there.
All the nuggets are there already.
You have the key to the treasure trove.
Exactly. The treasure,
where the
as soon as
golden
you open
nuggets
that up,
are stored.
You can get access to all the nuggets that are already there too.
They're not going away.
No, they're not. Where else can they find us, Josh?
I believe they can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. This podcast is on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they can find us there. And it's just audio. But some people like to listen to podcasts on YouTube. So all the places. And you can reach us at Treasures of Our Town podcast at gmail.com.
Yep. And so that's it for our show today. So please subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting app. And as always, Josh,
I don't have the show notes in front of me.
May your travels lead you to the most unexpected and amazing hidden gems around the world. See you next time. Bye.
See you next time. Bye.